It's Sunday morning, and every decent man and woman is listening to Test Miles with Nick Miles on FM News 101 KXL. Buckle in.
Pal, time to talk cars for the next 60 minutes on your weekly automotive experience. I'm Nick Myers. You're listening to America's Automotive Radio Show, keeping you connected to the automotive world, locally created, nationally celebrated. We've been testing some cool and exciting cars this week. The team will tell you about them. Do you want to buy a classic car? The Mecum auctions are coming to Portland for the first time, and John Craman is going to join us and tell us all about them. Bella Litt-Legrab-Grun is going to interview her. We're going to interview her about Miss Biker, which is an event in Italy, which has been going on. It's all about ladies and motorcycles. Do you want some ice in your car? When I say ice, I mean in-car entertainment. Peter Clover here from Mobile West to tell us about the latest in sound for your ride. So, Brad, what have you been riding around in this week?
I got to drive the Acura TLX. Now, this one was the top of the line. Prices tested at about $42,000, but it had the 3.5-liter all-wheel drive with tech. And when we talk tech, it has a lot of tech. So it was fun.
Acura pretty good at that tech.
Very good. And so this is the mid-size luxury sedan. It does compete with a lot of vehicles that are tough to compete with. The 3 Series BMW, C-Class, Audi A4. And what I have found in the past is that the Acura tends to lag just a bit behind some of those vehicles in the luxury element. But what they do offer is quite a bit of tech, like we talked about, and it's a lower price. And what I did find some research is that they depreciate quite a bit less than do some of those other vehicles. So it's a really good option if you want a really comfortable driving car. It's got the luxury. It's got 3 different ways you can buy this vehicle. One is the base model is the 2.4-liter 4-cylinder, 206 horsepower, which I found in the past, got to drive this. Really a responsible, fun car to drive.
Elliot Shiner, who did Steely Dan, who produced the album, and also the Foo Fighters, he was the guy that designed the sound system for that car. I know because I spent a day in the car with him, and it was kind of interesting listening to him to tell me exactly how he put it together.
Foo Fighters, I get. Do I have to sign on with Steely Dan?
I don't know, dude. They're a band from your era. Come on now.
I thought that was Glenn Miller was my era. But the
sticks and drums.
That's right. So the V6 is offered with a 9-speed automatic transmission. Now, I found this one a little more clunky, I guess is the word I'm coming up with, and I like the Cherokee. We talked about this earlier. Their 9-speed.
Right.
It was a lot more seamless than this, and but overall, a really great car and more luxurious than the Accord. We have talked about that in the past, where there was a finer line between the delineation between the Hondas and the Acuras. But I found with this one that there was a big gap between. I mean, there was a big bridge, so it was worth the extra money.
Excellent. And what was the price?
Base price on these start at $31,695 and go up to about $42,000.
Awesome. All right, Sean, what have you been driving this week?
I had the 2017 Hyundai Elantra Limited, 5-passenger compact sedan, and it has one of America's best warranties with its 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Some of the great features on this is you can have the Hyundai Blue Link, which allows you to basically start your car with your cell phone or your smartwatch. So days like this where it's going to be 100, you can cool your car down before you even enter in the vehicle. And even in the winter when it's ice cold out, you can defrost the windows from the luxury of your home. Also has...
Presuming if you have a luxury home, that is.
You don't need a luxury home to own this car, though.
No, but from the luxury of your home, you said.
Well, it depends on your home, I guess. Has a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, which has 147 horsepower, 6-speed Sportstronic transmission. It averages 32 miles to the gallon. Some of its competitors are the Corolla, Civic, Focus, Mazda 3, Dart, Volkswagen Jetta. Comes in 3 trim levels with the SE, Eco, and Limited. Driving, it's a little underpowered, but it feels really luxury. Or it's a luxury car. It's better ride than you'd think it is. And I think that's where it's like I come at it feeling that it's a little underpowered, because when you're sitting in this car, you feel like you're in a higher end luxury sedan, and it just doesn't have the get up and go. Still great for the city though, and comfortable. Some of the things I do like about it is the exterior styling that Hyundai has gone to. It's bold. It looks somewhat like an Audi with the big front grille on they have now. I can't really find any bad things about it. And then starting price for it is around $17,150. The one I was test driving is a little close to $30,000. So you definitely have some options. You can
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, I had the big boy this week, the biggest luxury car that they make at Lexus, the LX 570. Boy, this thing is big, by the way. I don't know why they don't put a bench seat in the front, and you could actually have a whole family sit just in the front seat.
I think it is the biggest, right?
It is the biggest vehicle they make. 8-passenger luxury vehicle, about 7,000 pounds in weight. Towing capacity, that's what it tows. It's not actually 7,000 pounds. It tows 7,000 pounds. Suspension is electronically controlled, shock absorbers. It also has stability control, air brakes, and I will tell you... ABS brakes. I will tell you about this vehicle. I think it needs a refresh. I mean, it's a great vehicle. Don't get me wrong. Refrigerator in between the two seats at the front. But it's definitely old technology. They put a lot of fresh stuff in. The screen is almost as big as my TV at home on the inside of the car. There's a lot of good stuff in there, but a big 5.7 liter V8 engine. That's what it takes to pull it. 383 horsepower, big, meaty engine. But at the same time, the problem with this vehicle is it seems very heavy for something that could be made a lot lighter, I think, if they went to aluminum body.
And it's really built for off-roading as well, isn't it? Their whole element with that makes it heavier.
If you're going to spend, it's like a Range Rover, if you're going to go and spend $107,000 on a car, you probably aren't going to go play with it through the mud so much. It also has that full-time all-wheel drive, gets about 15 miles a gallon, which I was getting out of it. So 2 or 3 runs, around the city, and you suddenly at half a tank, you kind of realize that you have to be able to afford to put gas into this.
Got to sell a lot of Priuses in order to get your gas mileage down on the other
Absolutely.
end with that car.
Range Rover, its competition, the QX80 from Infiniti. It is sort of the luxury version of the Toyota Land Cruiser. And I would tell you at starting price of around $88,000. I love the luxury. I love the vehicle itself. But I do think the body needs a complete refresh.
So it's a little bit smaller vehicle, but would you use the XC90 fully loaded as an option for that vehicle?
Well, one of the problems is this is an 8-seater, and what's the XC90, a 7-seater?
7, but still.
There are very few 8-seaters out there. A Suburban, I can think of one of them. Minivans, you can get 8-seaters, but it's hard to find an 8-seater. And the back seats are kind of fun. They flip down and flip up to the side of the vehicle, like the old Land Rovers did. That's kind of fun. You can do it with a switch. But there's a lot of really cool things about it. It has that split-level hatch at the back where you can open it so the dogs can't actually jump all the way out. You have to put the bottom portion down a bit.
Kind of like the old Suburbans.
Yeah, I think it was a great vehicle. All right, those are our 3 vehicle reviews today on the show. We put them all up front for you because we have such a packed show. Coming up, we'll be talking to John Kraman. He's from Mecum Auctions. If you want to invest in a brand new piece of, I would say, increasing value property, that would be an old car. Gold is flat, artwork is flat, so buying cars is where the money is at. We'll have him coming up on the show. We're going to talk to somebody in Italy about Miss Biker, and we're also going to find out about what ice you can put in your car. That's coming up next on Test Miles. I'm Nick Miles.
Test Miles, like NASCAR, but with one right turn. TestMiles.com.
Stay connected with the automotive world. If you want to read more stories about cars, please feel free to read my articles in the Oregonian, or you can go to TestMiles.com. We're here 24/7.
The first fun fact of the day is the first official Mecum auction was at Rockford Airport in 1988 and has been ranked #1 in the world with number of collector cars.
No, there you go. By the way, that noise, that was Jen headbutting the microphone. This noise that you hear on the radio, that's when Jen doesn't realize there's a microphone in front of her and she just goes and whacks it. If you have money to invest in the stock market, which can break or make you overnight, you may not want to. Gold is flat. The collecting of art is down in value, but classic and pre-classic cars are increasing in value. Portland will play host to a classic auction June 17th and 18th at the Expo Center. The Mecum auction will be in town, and joining us on the phone is John Kraman. John is the host of the NBC Sports version of the show, and yes, the auction will be televised live for everybody to go and watch on their television. Good morning to you. So tell me a little bit about this auction, John.
Well, it's our debut in Portland, and really looking forward to getting out there. We have learned a few things over the past couple of years as it's taken us that much time, really, to get all of our pieces put together to be able to host our very first auction there in Portland. And that is the car-centric car culture of that area really is quite surprising. And we're very gratified that we've got a big lineup of entries spanning almost 100 years of automotive history and price ranges from $5,000 all the way up to probably close to $500,000. So literally something for everyone.
No, I might be in on the $5,000 range. By the way, I don't think I'm in on the $500,000. So the 17th and 18th of June at the Expo Center, by the way, which is 2060 North Marine Drive. The gates open at 8, and you can actually get inside and have a look at the vehicles around 10 a.m. It does cost money to come to this auction, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a $30 admission ticket. Kids 12 and under are free, and that gives you access to be able to look at all the cars. And if you want to sit in the stands and watch the auction action, we encourage spectators, even people that are not interested in either buying or selling a car, are cordially welcome to attend this auction. It is described by many people as the best car show one would ever attend, because you've got 600 great collector cars all prepped and shiny and ready to sell. But at the same time, you've got all of the auction action that's happening. We run anywhere between 30, 35 cars per hour. It's nonstop action. If you don't like the car on the auction block, just wait 2 minutes. There'll be a different one up right afterward.
Tell me about some of the cars that are going to be in the auction, because obviously people want to see some of the latest and greatest, or the most famous cars, or potentially cars that are going to make them lots of money go up onto the auctioneer's block. What sort of cars have you got lined up for this show when it comes to town?
No surprise, I suppose, that the inventory for Portland looks pretty close to what we normally do. And that's the bulk of the inventory is going to be there between maybe built 1955 through about the early 1970s, appealing really to the heart and core of what's currently the collector car market, and that's the baby boomers. These are cars that were coveted back in the day and either owned by our potential buyers or always wanted one. And some of the big cars that really sort of stand are heavy hitters, the high performance world, Boss 429 Mustang, Shelby GT500 convertible, even 62 Chevy Bel Air, or Top as they're referred to, 409. We all know the Beach Boys song 409. It's a song that all about the car, and just a really nice overall quality mix of cars. And somebody coming to take a look at the cars are not going to be disappointed with the variety.
How does it work for the seller? So let's say I have a car that I want to put into the auction. It's something I've coveted, maybe I don't know, a 1969 Knott Spider or something, let's say from Ferrari, and I want to auction it off. How do I go about getting it into an auction that Mecum do?
Very straightforward. You pay entry fee. First of all, we're a reserve auction. What that means is our sellers can put a protected price on their entry, so there's no obligation to sell the car unless it hits a price that they're comfortable with. And we have to place that price, but ultimately it's up to the seller to place that price on the car, pay an entry fee. Our premium spots, our prime spots running on the best times on the best days are $1,000. Pay that up front in advance. And if the vehicle sell, in addition to the $1,000 that's already been paid, we collect a 10% commission on the hammer price. And the buyer does exactly the same thing. So if we have a car that sells for $100,000, you want to do the math with, the buyer will pay $110,000. The seller goes home with a check for $90,000, and we move on to the next auction.
So, where do you start the bidding? Let's say I put my Nart Spider in there and I want to get 14 million for it. Where do we start?
Well, it starts where the actual bidding starts. What the auctioneer will do is he will serve, or the protected price. He'll start the bidding at some number at that or above it, but almost never does a bid come in at that amount. Start less than that and quickly start escalating to what the bid is. If the bid does not reach the seller's expectation, price, then he's going to be informed right up on the auction block what the high bid is, and he's going to have every opportunity to drop or lift the reserve and sell the car.
All right. Well, that sounds like a fair way to do it. Let's talk about history of this. What's sort of some of the high prices, the big number cars, some of the cars that have become most famous out of the Mecum auctions?
Well, a couple of ways to answer that. First of all, Hemi fever has come back around again. The Mopar Hemi cars from the late 60s to the early 70s, particularly the convertibles, particularly the Cudas and the Challengers, are the most valuable in the collector car world. They can be anywhere between $2 and $3.5 million. Yeah, you heard that right. But proud to report that it goes all the way back to 2010 at our Mecum Monterey auction. Highest selling car we ever sold was one of 6 built, 1965, Shelby Daytona Cobra, the actual car driven by Bob Bondurant over in Europe, winning the manufacturer's championship for the USA for the very first time. $7.25 million, one sale, one car.
That is an awful lot of money, and I guess an awful lot of commission for you guys too when that sells as well. I'm sure you like the high roller cars there. Can you work on financing? Do you guys work with people on financing cars? Let's just say I don't quite have $7.2 million to go buy that Bondurant car. How does that work? Do you have cash up front when I buy a car? Do I need to throw down a suitcase full of money?
We make it real easy for a buyer to qualify as a bidder. In fact, I think you'd be surprised how easy it is. We require a valid driver's license, either a cash deposit or a credit card authorization of only $500, and you are qualified as a bidder to Mecum auction. If you're the winning bidder, you pay with a check. You take the vehicle home with you. Let that sink in for just a moment. We hold the titles for 3 weeks while we wait for titles to clear. That's how we as an auction company are protected.
Do you require a spouse's approval?
We prefer when they're not there.
That's the best. That's the best way to go.
That does become an issue sometimes of the other person that's not quite as enthusiastic about cars.
This is on NBC Sports. I can see a reality show there on E or something like that. All right, John, thank you for letting us know about the Mecum auction. It's going to be here June 17th and 18th at the Exo Center. If you want to go, all you have to do is pay that $30 and you can check it out. When we come back, we're going to talk motorcycles in Italy. Miss Biker, great big Italian festival of motorcycles coming up. That's next on Test Miles. I'm Nick Miles.
Favorite us, tweet us, friend us, love us, all at testmiles.com.
If you want to see some of my car stories, then you can just tune into Coin TV News and check out my reports. I also want to take a moment to congratulate Jamie Holmes, Kate Glover, and the rest of the Coin team for winning Emmys last night. Yes, they did great work at Coin and walked away with, I think, 3 Emmys. It makes me proud to be part of the TV station. Almost as proud as having you guys in the studio with me every Sunday morning.
Why didn't you win an Emmy?
Because I wasn't nominated.
Well, we need to work on that.
Yeah, we need to work on that.
Why didn't you win an Emmy?
Because I guess obviously you weren't unnominated, so...
Okay, so in 1989, Lexus launched 2 sedans, the LS400 and the ES250, and sold its first million cars in the U.S. in 1999. Their second million came in the U.S. in 2004.
All right, Latest have some cool stuff coming up at their motorcycle department store where you can get latest Harley Davidson and Triumphs. Coming up is the latest Motus Harley Davidson in Gladstone, their annual tent party. This is the biggest sale this year, and the trucker Rocky semi-truck will be on site for anyone looking for the latest in Vance and Heinz performance parts for their Harley. They also are offering up to 60% off licensed Harley-Davidson and aftermarket riding gear, souvenirs, T-shirts, and more. That's Saturday, June 18th at Latest Motors, Harley-Davidson in Gladstone. You can learn more at latest-hd.com. I should tell you that after the show last week, I got dressed up in my Captain America gear, and I got on my Street 750, which is my Harley-Davidson, the same one from the movie, and rode it down the street. And we just looked at it just before the show. It has 65,000 people. It reached 20,000 views for that video, just of me on my Harley Davidson and my Shield backpack and my Captain America jacket and helmet.
Well, they've never seen the before transformation of the Captain America in that outfit.
It's Hobbit America, actually. it's Captain America dressed up.
You did look a little like the Captain America before he went through the transformation.
Oh, all right. All right, I can go with that.
He kind of looked like a Ninja Turtle riding down the street.
Also, don't forget, today is the PIR Chicane Challenge at Cascade Sports Car Club, and it's free to spectators, done at 12:50 to 5:30. All right, so we have been in touch with a young lady called Bella, and they have a big event going on in Italy, and we have been getting lots and lots of attention from our Facebook page on this. It's called the Miss Biker event, and Bella Litleb-Grun is the designer she is an intern designer at Ducati and one of the organizers at the event. So Bella, tell us a little bit about this event.
Well, basically, it's the Miss Biker National Moto Gathering. We gather Miss Biker members from all over Italy and also from abroad, if anyone's interested. And we're going to offer a 4-day festival of motorbikes and cultural events and special guests and a lot of fun stuff.
Is it based in one place, or do you guys ride from place to place?
We're based in Marostica. It's in the province of Vicenza in northern Italy. And there will be a Miss Biker village. And from there will be ride-outs that will be going out and returning. And also a lot of events in the general region.
So
but we're based there.
How many people attend? How many? And it's mostly women that attend, right? So how many people attend the event?
Actually, it's only women. It's open to any female motorcycle rider or enthusiast, and we're expecting up to 200 entries a day. That's
absolutely incredible. How did this Miss Biker start? Who came up with the idea, and how did you get it to happen?
Well, our founder, Lisa Cavalli, she kind of started it as a thing between friends. So it was just her and a couple of other motorcyclists. And from there, it grew exponentially, and we now have over 2,000 members. So it exploded all by itself.
And if you want to become a member of Miss Biker, how do you actually do that?
It's enough to be a woman on a motorcycle, or even a motorcycle enthusiast interested in motorcycling. And you just get in touch with us through our website or our social networks, and that's it.
And then you can sort of join up. Now tell me some of the events that you have going on. What happens over the 4 days there? Is it sort of a festival of tents? Are people selling things, or is there classes? And who are the special guests? That sort of thing.
We will have aside from like an exposition or a show where we have motorcycle gear and various brands such as Promo Jeans and Emblema Eyewear. We will have lots of courses about motorcycle mechanics, track day setup, braking mechanisms, even a first aid course. And we will have ride-outs, a bartender contest, and even a concert, actually.
I like the bartender.
And we will have Manuel Poggiali.
I like the bartender contest. That sounds a lot of fun.
Also offering non-alcoholics. We'll also have Manuel Pujali, is world champion, and Moreno Piazza, which is a trial motorcycle world, Italian champion, and many other interesting guests.
Now, I know over here in the United States that a lot of motorcyclists like myself, I ride a Harley Davidson, big bikes are the big thing. Of course, Ducati's very big over here, and I know that you have an association with Ducati, but what sort of bikes are women riding in Italy?
That's a difficult question. It's like asking what kind of bikes you ride in Italy in general, but many prefer sports bikes and kind of standard street naked bikes, as well as Harleys and like bigger touring bikes, such as the Ducati Multistrada or even Goldwings.
Now, do you think that the event Miss Biker is inspiring other women around the world? Do you think there'll be Miss Biker events in Germany and Miss Biker events in the US and Canada and other countries?
I certainly hope so, because this year we participated in the International Female Ride Day. With those Dainese D stores, we have offered breakfast to motorcyclists around Italy, and then we went on rides in different regions. So by making women on motorcycles more visible, we are hoping to inspire other maybe beginners or women who feel isolated to get in touch with other riders in their community and, get on ride outs and organize other events.
And my final question for you, so you have companies that support you. I mean, obviously, this isn't a cheap thing to do. It costs money to find a place to do it, and it takes a lot of organization. So are there companies in Italy and across Europe who are supporting Miss Biker?
Well, first of all, we have the support of the Veneto regional government and the city of Marostica, who actually promote the event. And we also have partners such as Brembo, Pirelli, Revit, TCX, Shark Helmets, and Garmin, who help us and make these things possible, as well as Suzuki Italy, who are lending a very helping hand.
All right, Bella, thanks so much for joining us today, and thanks for spending the time to talk to us.
Thank you so much for your interest in Miss Biker, and I hope that the word really does get out there.
All right, we will have more test miles when we return. We're going to find out what cool stuff you can put inside your car. Peter from Mobile West is going to be here. You're listening to Test Miles on FM News 101 KXL. I'm Nick Miles.
Test Miles, like NASCAR, but with one right turn. TestMiles.com.
From the Test Miles Studios, America's Car Radio Show, we'd like to thank you for being part of the Car Nation. For more fun facts about cars, visit our Facebook, Twitter, or at Test Miles website.
Last fun fact of the day, Effie and Avis Hotchkiss, mother and daughter team, were the first female motorcycle riders to successfully complete the transcontinental ride across the United States. This happened in 1950 from Brooklyn, New York to San Francisco.
All right. Thank you for your fun fact, Jen. That was fun. And it was a fact. Peter Klober has been a supporter of this show since it was on the air from the very first day, which is 2.5 years ago.
Yeah,
I think it
along
is
those
2.5 years ago. By the way, if you didn't know already, we with this audience, you people out there who have supported us, who we're very thankful, by the way, who are watching on Facebook as well and on Periscope. You have supported us, and our audience has grown about 500% since day one. So we are very proud of that. But we're also proud of the fact that Peter has been supporting us from Mobile West. And, of course, Mobile West basically will cover all of your car needs, everything from the inside to how it sounds, on the outside to all of the light bars, to pretty much anything you can do once you get your car off the dealer lot. You take it to Peter, and then he makes it much more fun than you could possibly imagine. So you're here this week, Peter, to talk to us about some installations of some really cool sound systems. You've got a couple or three that are on stock in your business that are absolutely killer.
Absolutely. It's the way I would phrase it is at Mobile West, we like to make your car your favorite place to be. Adding the tech, adding the comfort, adding the sound, music, technology that you would like to have.
Sometimes when I have a fight at home, it is my favorite place to be.
Yeah, hop in the car, rock out some good tunes, and make it so you don't care when you get stuck in traffic.
Right.
That's just a good point.
So stereos have come a long way. Do we call them stereos still, by the way? Is that the right term?
Yeah, I mean that.
Or audio systems in car entertainment. I like to call them ICE, in-car entertainment.
Well, exactly. That's a very European
way of putting it.
But, Yeah, call it your car stereo.
All right.
That's a generic term
your car
that covers
stereo,
everything.
which still works as a word. They've come a long way. I mean, I remember back in the day, and Brad probably remembers when you still had record players in cars, but I remember back in the day when there used to be these little sort of square things that used to pop out the back and oblong. No, not an 8-track.
Oh, no. We're talking about when I started, there were pull-out radios that you go take your tape tack,
Right,
grab
that's
it
what
by
I'm
the
talking
handle,
about.
yank it out of the dash, and carry it around like luggage.
Right, and then they went to this sort of faceplate that you used to be able to take off so nobody could steal it. Then they didn't work so well. But now they're the size of 8 inches square. Some of these things with big screens that pop out and all those type of things, and you can have them any shape or size, right?
Absolutely, and we can upgrade the technology, the source unit, in pretty much any car on the planet.
Brad,
you were
going to respond to me making fun of you record players and cars, weren't you?
No, I was just thinking about the speakers we used to put in the back of the...
They were as big as the trunk?
Yeah, they were huge.
Sometimes I drive past cars that still have those, the speakers as big as the back seat in the cars. That's not the fashion anymore, though, is it?
Things have evolved significantly, you know, and there are things that, you do to a stereo if you're an 18-year-old boy, which are very different from, when you're an adult male or female.
So 18s, clearly we're suggesting 18s are adults, which most of us would probably agree with in this room.
Yeah, absolutely. we wanted different things, at that time, yes, you wanted to be loud, you wanted to draw attention to yourself.
Right.
These days, hey, when I'm on my way home, I want to listen to some good tunes and relax and calm down and be in a good space when I do get home to...
The sound in the car is very, very important.
Absolutely.
So tell me about this first unit that you have down, the Alpine ILX 007.
Sure, that's actually the most popular radio or head unit in the shop these days. That is Alpine's Apple CarPlay radio. So I plug my iPhone in and it replicates my iPhone right on the dash of the car. Full Siri integration. It uses the mapping from your phone, comes up on the video screen that we can touch control. Reads me text messages while you're driving when they come in and composes them back over Siri. It's just a great piece of tech that actually most car manufacturers their TV ads now are just showing that screen in the dash.
What price are these if we were not to buy them from Mobile West?
Well, retail on that piece of electronics is $800. We sell them for $599 every day.
And then you also can install them too.
And we install them in every car on the planet. I mean, we even do cars that are not possible. We just did a 2008 BMW 7 Series that had the iDrive.
Boys, get the Sawzall. I got a hole in the dash.
Well, that car, an iDrive vehicle takes some custom modification and building custom bezels, but the customer, when we're said and done, was happy as can be, and it looked like it was a factory-built piece of electronics.
Now, before we get to the other two, and I want to make sure we have enough time for those, I think everyone in this room, except for Brad, now Brad's an iPhone guy, but the rest of the team here are Android guys. But I notice there's more car... Are you an iPhone?
No, but I'm not a guy.
Oh, you're a guy.
There's that.
Yeah, you are. So there seems to be more head units out there that are Apple CarPlay than Android Auto.
That is true, but we do have a full complement of units with Android Auto. Like, for example, not on this list, which is probably number 4 on the list, would be a Pioneer AVH 4200 NEX, which has got 7-inch touchscreen. It's got Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, CD/DVD player, Bluetooth, rear seat entertainment capability. It is a fully functional unit that we sell lots and lots of.
And they retail for about?
$650.
No, that's not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Let's talk about the second one on the list, the Pioneer AVIC 6200 NEX. These have long and very complicated names.
Part numbers. But so that is a Pioneer's mid-level navigation head unit with Apple CarPlay.
All right, so navigation as well as built-in.
That's right, because I'll phrase it this way. Apple CarPlay is going to use data to do the mapping. There's sometimes when, we're here in Oregon. There are times you get on the backside of Mount Hood or on your way to the beach where you don't have good high-speed data, depending on your phone carrier. So if you're going to have an adventure vehicle, you're going to go out in the woods, or Go in Adventures have something with navigation built into it.
All right.
That way it works even when your phone doesn't have data connection.
Let's talk quickly about this $210 Alpine.
That is, that is a mechless piece. It does not have a CD in it. And it's actually, one of the top 3 most popular units in the shop. It is radio, USB digital media, iPhone, Android phone, calling, streaming music. It will even play high-resolution FLAC files directly off the USB.
That's amazing.
Beautiful unit, and it's entry-level, but they sound amazing,
All right.
which is why you buy an Alpine.
We're out of time. Mobile West, of course. Peter is there all the time. He can service you anytime you want to go in there and make sure that he has all of your car needs taken place. mwpdx.us or a 211-2111, which is on Martin Luther King. We'll look forward to having you on again, and people come down and just mention Test Miles, and Peter will give you all the love in the world.
Throw it in neutral and coast in with testmiles.com.